Hello and welcome to today's pandemic update video for Monday, March 27th, 2023. We do have 2 COVID positives to report on since our last pandemic update, which was last week. And those 2 COVID positives, they come out of India. One is Ajay Banga, who is the World Bank President nominee. He tested positive for COVID on March 23rd. His meetings in India have been canceled. He is 63 years old. We also have Pooja Bhatt, who tested positive for COVID last week. And this person is an Indian film director and actress. They tested positive for COVID on Friday, March 24th. And she is 51 years old. All right. On this day in COVID history, the Trump administration signs the Coronavirus Aid, Relief and Economic Security CARES Act into law. The act includes funding for $1,200 per adult, with expanded payments for families with children, expanded unemployment benefits, forgivable small business loans, loans to major industries and corporations, and expanded funding to state and local governments in response to the economic crisis caused by COVID-19. Apple, in partnership with HHS, CDC, the White House Coronavirus Task Force, releases an app with a COVID-19 symptom and exposure questionnaire, telling people how to isolate and monitor symptoms, and giving recommendations on testing and when to contact a medical provider if they believe they have contracted or have been exposed to SARS-CoV-2 virus. So that's this day in COVID history from the CDC. Taking a look at the national wastewater level, and you can see here there's not a lot of areas that are in high transmission, but there are quite a few areas that are in moderate transmission. We do have some that are continuing in the Great Lakes region. We do have a couple up in the Northeast. The rest are relatively low to near moderate, and there's a couple on the West Coast. Let's take a look at this week's community transmission from the CDC. 954 counties are in high transmission. 751 are in substantial transmission. The biggest number we have here is moderate, which makes up 1,065 counties, and 452 are in low transmission. So actuality, that's the most we've seen in moderate since early last year, February of last year, going into early March of last year. So that's actually some good news, but again, as you know, it's still too high. All right, the other concerning factor that has been coming into play lately, XBB 1.5 is at 90.2%. Then comes XBB 1.9.1, which is at 2.5%, and that's a variant we really have to watch. BQ 1.1 is at 2.5%. XBB 1.5.1 is at 2.4%, and XBB is at 1.2%. All right, Central Pennsylvania. There's one hospital in Center County, Pennsylvania. I always like to check in on this from time to time. They are now back up to 13 people in the hospital. After going down slightly late last week, they are on the rise again, so we'll have to continue to monitor that. That's pretty much my bellwether for how Central Pennsylvania is doing with COVID. When I see their number rise, that's not a good thing to see at all. New York State, only 619 new cases in the last 24 hours. However, the test positivity rate is 3.1%, which is higher than the 7-day average of 2.6%. New York State hospitalizations, they continue to fall. 1,116 people in the hospital, 134 people in the ICU. How about the weekly COVID numbers last week from BNO News? And there's this disclaimer here. 3 states did not report last week. Arkansas, a big one, which is Florida, and Missouri. Of course, Missouri. Why is it so bad that Missouri is not reporting? Well, Missouri is where the highest amount of the new variant is, and that's a place where we really want to watch cases. And, of course, they didn't even report last week, so that's just bad. So, the last week's numbers were 137,982 new cases in the United States last week, 47 out of 50 states reporting. Hospitalizations actually were down by 824, 20,267 people in the hospital. ICU, 2,875. That's actually up by 91, so that's not good. 1,620 deaths last week, still far too high in my opinion. Average is down by 119 to 2,097, but again, remember, we had a lot of states, 3 states that did not report last week, and a big one being Florida, so that does screw up this number. Walgreens Positivity Index. Good and bad. It's kind of a mix here. You do see some green up in the northwest. That's fine. But then you also see some red. Let's dissect some of these red areas. New Hampshire, 34 tests this week, 30 last week, and, well, look what's happening here. Their positivity rose by 15.7% to 32.4%. The prior week was 16.7%. National positivity is 24.4% this week, prior week 25.4%. It is down. I question how long it's going to stay down. New York State, current week 28.5%, prior week 28.1%. That is a difference of 0.5%. It is up slightly. Tennessee, 23.8% this week, prior week 19.3%. That's a difference of 4.6% up, and their testing is up this week. Arkansas, 25% positivity this week, 19% last week. 6% up, their testing is down. Louisiana, however, their testing is up. 139 tests this week, 119 last week, and their positivity rose significantly. 25.2% positive this week, 18.5% last week. That is up by 6.7%. Florida, we've been waiting to see Florida rise. Here you go. Florida, current week, 25.8%. Prior week, 23.3%. That is up by 2.5%. But testing is down. So, it may be a product of testing. It may also be a product of spring break. We need to see what happens if testing should increase. And if testing increases and their positivity is still rising, then that would be really concerning. Nevada, 36.8% positive this week, 29.2% last week, 7.6% increase in positivity, and their testing is down. Alaska, 22.6% this week, 17.8% last week, 4.8% up in positivity. Their testing is down. Finally, Hawaii, 26.8% this week, 23.5% last week. That's a difference of up 3.3%. But again, you do have some states here that are significantly down. Arizona is down by 7.2%. Maine is down by 11.5%. Look at the chart for Maine. Maine is rapidly dropping now. So they clearly had a big wave back in February and the start of March. And maybe that provided some sense of immunity. And now they're just rapidly dropping. I mean, this is the most Maine has dropped. Let's see here. 19.2%, right? That's about the lowest Maine has been since spring of last year. So that's really impressive. Maybe there's some sense of immunity from the wave that they had. Real quickly, let's take a look at some international numbers. We won't go too deep into this, but France is up 17% on cases, up 3% on deaths. Austria is down 20% on cases, down 60% on deaths. Germany's down 17% on cases, up 11% on deaths. That's not good. Italy is down 39% on cases and down 28% on deaths. Mexico is down 19% on cases, up 34% on deaths. That's not good for the deaths. New Zealand, cases are up 0.2%, deaths are up 55%. Romania, cases up 19%, deaths are up 30%. Alrighty, that does it for today's update. We're going to continue to watch the numbers closely. I'm really concerned about this new variant because not many people took the booster, and I don't think there's much immunity to be had across the country at this time. A lot of people have not been infected for a while. We've been dealing with lower numbers, and I just get the sense that this new variant is really going to reverse course and cause things to get pretty bad probably for the next 2 to 3 months, but hey, we'll see what happens. Of course, you know I'll be tracking it. We'll have another update again tomorrow. Until next time, thanks for watching. And if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel down below. Until next time, stay safe, everyone.